Hi YouTube, welcome back to another video with me, Ariel. So if you've watched my videos before, you'll know I love to talk about tarot and astrology. And if you are just now joining, just now starting, well, there's plenty of content for you to keep up with. What we're talking about today is the chart ruler in astrology. So this can be a little bit complex to begin with, but I'm going to be trying to make it as easy to understand as possible, and hopefully I do a good job at that. So let's start by actually finding our chart rulers, because that's going to be really important for you to follow along with this video. What you're going to want to do is find your rising sign, or you may know this as your ascendant sign, your AC, in your chart. If you do not know this and you do not have this accurately, unfortunately you will not be able to know what your chart ruler is, because it does rely on having an accurate rising sign. So go find it. What do you have? Aries, Scorpio, Capricorn, Leo? Great. So now what I want you to do is think about which planet rules that sign. I will quickly go through a list of the traditional rulers. You may not use these yourself. I do use traditional planets, so I will go through those. But again, if you would like to use the modern planets, then you can look that up elsewhere. What you want for the traditional planets, you're going to have Aries, Mars, Taurus, Venus, Gemini, Mercury, Cancer, Moon, Leo, Sun, Virgo, Mercury, Libra, Venus, Scorpio, Mars, Sagittarius, Jupiter, Capricorn, Saturn, Aquarius, Saturn, and Pisces, Jupiter. So now that you've seen which rising sign you have, which sign goes to which planet, I want you to find your planet in your chart. So I'll take my example. I am an Aquarius rising, which means that I have Saturn as my chart ruler, and I would be looking at my Saturn. So that would be Taurus, Saturn in the 4th house. To take another example, maybe you are an Aries an Aries rising, so Mars is your chart ruler, and maybe you have Mars in Virgo in the 6th house. Quickly get that done. Maybe you can go find it another time after this video, but if you do want to quickly go find it, I'll give you 5 seconds. Just kidding, that's quite a long time. So what you're going to do with this placement is you're going to consider it the king of your chart. The chart ruler is like a king sat at the gate. So they're not just a gatekeeper, they're not just a guard. This is the king of the castle has decided to take up guard duty for the day. They are watching what comes in, what goes out. They decide which soldiers go and fight what battles. They decide what stocks and trades are allowed back into the castle itself. And they are in control of that whole system. That is what the chart ruler is. It is the kind of the person at the top who decides how you're going to navigate the world around you, how you see it. You can even consider it like having a pair of glasses on which are framed by that planetary energy. So to take some examples, just to come up with some random charts from the top of my head to illustrate what I mean. If we are to think about the Aries rising with the Virgo Mars in 6th house, this person has a Martian outlook on life. But their Martian outlook is specifically informed by a need for routines and perhaps analysis of their routines because of the Virgo Mars in the 6th house. So this person may be quite active, they enjoy having a schedule, but they're also a bit critical of their schedules. So if there's time which is being wasted on things they don't really want, they're going to notice that and they're going to amend it. It's somebody who is an editor of their physical life. And that informs the way they actually see life itself. So again, the rising is your glasses that you see the world through. It is how you came into life. It is the gate of the whole chart, and it's being informed by and managed by that planet. So to take a different example, let's come up with something entirely different. What about Leo rising? So Sun would be the chart ruler. And let's say that the Sun is in Cancer in the 12th house. That's quite different, isn't it? So if the Sun is in Cancer, obviously this person might be quite intuitive and have a very emotionally fueled sense of their ego. So this is somebody whose ego is relying on how they view their world through their emotions. And it may be that this person often feels a bit confused or lost in the world because their Sun is in the 12th house. So their chart ruler is in the subconscious and hidden house. So this might be quite a private aspect of them. They may not show it to many people. This is the sort of Leo rising where you think, oh, you're a Leo rising, and then it turns out that of course their sun is in the 12th house. It's in Cancer, an intuitive, empathetic, sympathetic kind of sign. This is why you may see them as less flamboyant and more selfless, caring, giving, because this person is channeling that watery, sort of deeper energy. What this is going to mean for you is going to be very individual, and I do encourage you to think about your own chart as you watch this video. What you are going to notice as you begin to look at your chart ruler is that it probably makes a lot of aspects. It probably explains a lot of things. So maybe you have your chart ruler in the 7th house and you are somebody who loves one-on-one communication. You may be into business. You may have had a lot of relationships. Equally, maybe your chart ruler is in the 3rd house and you're really bubbly and you're really chatty. Maybe you understand the world through chatting, and this is something that you really love. Maybe you have lots of siblings and friends, or maybe you are a primary school teacher, maybe even. It is this chart ruler and all of those energies which are applied to it, which are going to be in you and affecting you. Now, just like any placement, of course, the chart ruler is important, and it's not that it's extremely more important than any other planet in your chart, but it's more so that that one is personal for you. So for instance, somebody who is a Cancer rising is going to, because of this, feel more connected to their moon, the moon sign, and everything the moon has to teach them, than say somebody who is an Aquarius rising. So I'm an Aquarius rising. Whilst I value my moon and everything it has to teach me, I don't feel particularly attached to it. It's not my ultimate teacher. Saturn is, and that is something you can be experiencing now, or you probably are experiencing now. Maybe you've already noticed it, or maybe you'll notice it once you've watched this video. So for the second half, I do want to go through some basic ideas of what each planet being your chart ruler can mean. Of course, it's so important to apply the sign, house, and aspects. So this is only a really, really basic idea. But if you would like to learn more about your chart ruler, maybe I could do certain videos on it, or I do offer astrology readings on my website. So when it comes to the sun, so if you're a Leo rising, you're going to have the sun as your chart ruler. And what does the sun mean as your chart ruler? It's going to show that you as a person tend to experience the world and navigate it through your sense of self. So the things which make you, your identity, and what you are experiencing of the world. It may have been a criticism of you in the past that you can be somebody who is more prone to say I, or you may be very, very anxious that you're always saying I. This is my experience of Leo risings, at least. I've had lots of friends who are Leo risings, and that seems to be the dynamic and the inner anxiety which happens for you lot, unfortunately. If you are a Cancer rising, you are going to have moon as your chart ruler. So you might be a more internal person. You view the world and navigate the world through your emotions. It's all about your emotional journey with the world and how you respond to it on an empathetic and sympathetic level. Where someone else might be logical and cold, you are more poetic, artistic, and nurturing. And if something makes you feel something, you have to go in that direction. Then we have the Mercury chart rulers, so Gemini and Virgo risings. You are those logical people. You are objective, you're studious, you may be the kind to always want to find all the answers and to really consider life from all different points of view. You're not going to react as what your self tells you or what your emotions tell you, but rather what feels maybe right for you. You're not necessarily as motivated by morality as some of the other chart rulers, but more so fact. So just because something is meant to be accepted in society doesn't necessarily make it the right thing in your view in some cases. Those with Mercury as their chart ruler are going to find that maybe they're more bubbly, maybe they're more chatty, or even they just really love academia and reading. You are all about taking in the information and forming an opinion from there, as well as forming your experience of life from there. Next up, the Venus chart rulers. So the Venetians in the room, this is you if you are a Taurus or a Libra rising. So for you guys, you very much experience the world through your sense of, well, experience, your aesthetic, your senses. The world is very sensual, perhaps even tangible. Venus can be a bit materialistic at times. Some of you may like your fancy things or your fancy tastes. You maybe are more artistic souls, poetic also, and tend to like to navigate how you view things. Also what you like and how you express yourself through your artistic identity. You may be more expressive than some of your friends. You may be the kind to write a poem about your feelings or to really invest in your vibe and what you're actually wearing. Whereas, like we talked about other signs, they might be more studious, informative, or inside themselves. For you, it's all about experiencing, diving into and exploring what makes you you from the Venetian perspective. So what do you like? What tastes good, what looks good, and all of those sorts of things. Venus is also a planet of talent, so it would not surprise me to find out many of you may be dancers, sculptors, like I said, poets, or really have any form of talent, especially those related to the obvious Venusian aspects. Next we have Mars. So the Mars chart rulers, this is you if you are an Aries or a Scorpio rising. So for you guys, we're going to be thinking more along the lines of drive, passion and activity. You are people who are motivated by your energetic self. You see the world through desire, be it something that you desire or something which is driven by desires. So maybe you often are the kind to do things because you feel them. Not in the same way that Cancer Mars feels through things, but more so that you are powered by those innate feelings of desire, of wanting, or even of the bubbling fire inside of you. So maybe you're more athletic, or maybe you are somebody who tends to be very full of energy, be it the kind which is used for sports or the kind of sports which are used in the bedroom, mind you. And so with the Mars chart rulers, what we are seeing is that kind of bubbling of Martian pure will. You may be quite argumentative and the kind to debate things. You could come up against those Mercury chart rulers in that way because you are capable of following through with things, so with burning that fire and taking a torch and running with it. And that's the great thing about you Mars chart rulers, because you are people who are powered by what you think you should be. Mars is an energy planet. And so it's really a great one to have ruling your chart, providing it's in a good place in your chart, because you have that energy applying to your very self, to the way that you go about your life. And maybe it's easier for you to apply yourself to what you want to do and what you believe in than some people who might get stuck in the questions of, is it right? Is it me? How do I feel about it? Those things might not apply to you quite as much. Next up, with our penultimate set, we have the Saturn chart rulers. Or in fact, Jupiter chart rulers. I did get them wrong around. So we have the Jupiter chart rulers. We have Sagittarius and Pisces. Sagittarius and Pisces, now you two are very interesting. If these are your rising signs, then Jupiter is your chart ruler, unless you use modern rulers, in which case I'm not going to be talking about those, so you're a Jupiter chart ruler now, Pisces. But Jupiter chart rulers are all about expanse, growth, luck. It is likely that you've been told at some point in your life that you are larger than life in some way, whether you're hilarious, whether you're in a dreamland, whether you are maybe you've benefited from a rich life or having rich tastes or being incredibly lucky and doing some amazing things. You are somebody whose very being is defined by the planet of expanse and having. So you may find that you tend to be more likely to commit to something huge than your friends do. Not to say that commitment is to do with Jupiter at all, but rather that it's all or nothing, go big or go home, larger than life for you. You are not somebody who just wants to go buy one new top, you'll probably buy 10. You are not somebody who will just go donate £10 to a charity, you're going to volunteer with the charity. You are somebody who gives and is growing through your life experience, and there is no small thing about what you do or how you view the world. It is likely you're not the kind of person to be indifferent or to and ah about things, because by the time you've decided what lens you view your life with or view something with, it's taken up a big space in your mind. Some may call it dramatic. You may have been accused of that in the past. Something that you may have also heard before might be that you're the kind to maybe run away from things, because some people view your idea of expanding and growing and developing and being bigger as running away from those smaller things. So maybe that's something that you've been struggling with, depending on how your chart is looking, of course. So now we come to our very last set. We have those Saturn chart rulers. Hi folks, me too. So you are going to be Aquarius and Capricorn risings. If you are an Aquarius rising and you use modern rulers, you're a Uranus rising, but for the sake of this video, you are a Saturn rising now. Well, Saturn chart ruler now. What Saturn does to us poor folk here in the Saturn gang is that it tends to mean we view life through a restrictive lens. To tell my own story, I realised just the other day I tend to want to reject something before I accept it. I'm the kind of person, you probably agree, especially you Capricorns, I know what you're like. You probably find yourself wanting to reject something or to argue with something or to prove it wrong before you're willing to say that it's true. We often have a more authoritarian stance towards life. That's not to say that we're cold, cynical and stoic, though we can be and often are, but more so that we like to be teachers, mentor, wise people, and to be led by those sort of people as well. We will not often be the kind to sit and be led, because Saturn is older than that. Saturn has creaky bones by the age of 2. Saturn is the kind of planet which gives you hard experiences so that you can be a better or bigger person, however you'd like to view it. However, it does also mean we can be seen as cold, critical, cynical, and all of those sorts of things. And that can be true until we learn to really foster that large Saturn father, which is in our charts. When it comes to our view of life, how we navigate life, it's going to be led by those experiences. It's likely for basically any Saturn rising, Saturn chart ruler, Capricorn or Aquarius rising, that we've had some tough experiences in life, or some very restrictive experiences. Oftentimes, you know, it's not fun. You may have suffered with not feeling good enough. That might have become very serious for you. And so that begins to form how you view life. At times that can be difficult. At times that can be a success story because you overcome it and you accomplish something great and you have your own healing process, and then that becomes the wise elder at the top of your chart. But ultimately, Saturn chart rulers, the one thing which we can always know that we shall be is informed. So Saturn is an information giving planet. Not in the same way as Mercury, we're not out here always looking for facts, but rather we use kind of the empirical evidence we found through our experiences, be them good or bad, usually bad, we tend to be pessimistic, to inform how we view life, what we give out, and how we are navigating that AC rising journey. So that is my video on chart rulers. I hope you've liked it. If you like my videos, please do subscribe. Consider checking out my Patreon. It is $11.11 a month for 2 pieces of content every week. So I post readings twice a week. I post free pendulum readings, astrology, tarot, you name it. I post about it. But other than that, I have nothing else to say. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope it's taught you something. Why don't you leave your chart ruler below and talk a little bit about how you view it in yourself. So maybe you're a Leo rising and you are being absolutely dragged by your sun, or maybe you're a Gemini rising and you've just now put together all the amazing mercurial things about you. Whatever it is, let me know below. But I'll see you another time, guys. So bye.